Hello. Thank you for tuning into this primary candidate forum for Tumwater City Council, Position 6. The forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County and TCTV. The League is a nonprofit, nonpartisan political organization that encourages informed and active participation of citizens in their government. The League registers new voters, studies issues, and advocates for its positions with the legislature. Despite its name, the League is open to both men and women of voting age. I'm Melissa Minharis from the League, and I'll be moderating this forum today. Today we'll be hearing from two of the three candidates for the position of Tumwater City Council, Position 6. The candidates are Kyle Taylor-Lucas, Debbie Sullivan, and David Reeder, who is not able to join us today. For this forum, each of the candidates will have 2 minutes for an opening statement. Then I'll ask them questions in alternating order. The first person asked the question will have 2 minutes to respond, and the other candidate will have an additional minute to rebut or add additional information in response to that same question. Then we will alternate. At the end of the question period, there will be an opportunity for each of the candidates to make a closing statement of 1 minute each. And today, we're happy to have with us again Kyle Taylor-Lucas and Debbie Sullivan, and we're going to begin with opening statements from the candidates. And I believe I said that Ms. Sullivan would start. So Ms. Sullivan, thank you for joining us.
Great. Thank you very much for having us. I really appreciate the League of Women Voters providing this forum. I think it's very beneficial for the voting public to have an opportunity to actually hear and listen to the candidates. Again, my name is Debbie Sullivan. I am Chair of the Tumwater Planning Commission, and that is one of the reasons why I am running for this position. I have a varied background. I come from both the public and private sector. I have experience being a small business owner and also working for a Fortune 100 organization. As the Planning Commissioner, I have been chosen by my fellow commissioners to serve as their chair for over 5 years. I believe I'm starting my 6th year as the chair of the Planning Commission. And so I've been able to know in depth many of the issues that have come before the City Council and before the city, have been working closely with the citizens and making very comprehensive recommendations to the Tumwater City Council. I'm also involved in the community in other ways. I have strong volunteer service. I have volunteered for community services for over 18 years. And I also have been in search and rescue for over 5 years, both in the Thurston County Sheriff's Jeep Patrol and as a founding member of South Puget Sound Mobile Search and Rescue. I have been worked for junior achievement, teaching junior achievement in middle school, was on Newmarket Vocational Skills Center Advisory Board for Office Automation and Technology. So I'm very vested in the city of Tumwater, and I want to make it as abundant and wonderful place to live, having Tumwater grow but still meet the needs of its citizens.
Great. Thank you very much. Ms. Lucas.
Well, I too want to add my thanks to the League for sponsoring this forum. It's so important to offer this civic opportunity for the citizens to be able to get to know the candidates, so thank you. It has been a blessing for me to call Tumwater home for the better part of 16 years. Despite having left twice, I always came back to the city due to its sense of community and its wonderful sense of small town character that I've come to love and value over the years. I think it's to the city's credit that the city council leadership over decades has helped to shape a welcoming small town character. And I want to be a part of preserving that strong sense of community while also helping the city to prosper with environmentally and socially compatible economic development opportunities. And that's what caused me to apply to the City Council open seat in March, and I was so proud to be unanimously selected from 6 candidates for the position of number 6 on City Council. And I've been having the time of my life for these past 3 months. As a small businesswoman, I'm also appreciative of the struggles of small business. As a grandmother, I care about the legacy that I will leave. During my first months on City Council, I have focused my efforts on public safety together with interjurisdictional work in collaboration to address issues affecting the most vulnerable among us, including addressing low-income housing, helping to find, secure one pilot project for doing, going forward, I want to continue that work to fulfill Tumwater's vision of a people-oriented and highly visible, livable city with a strong economy. I want to ensure our continued work with the community visioning process that results in progress on Tumwater's Brewery District revitalization. I want to ensure that policies are aimed toward a livable and sustainable city with clean water, air and living wage, green jobs, good schools, trees and parks, affordable housing, and thriving neighborhoods. I hope to be able to continue to preserve and protect our essential public services and the gains we've made in public safety, and I ask your support in continuing to retain me in my position. Thank you.
Thank you both. So on to the questions. Again, each of you, if you were posed the question first, you will have 2 minutes to respond, and the other will have a minute to add. So, Ms. Sullivan, we'll start with you first.
Okay.
And the first question is, what is your vision for Tumwater in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, my vision for Tumwater is to become diverse, bring in multiple different areas of employment. Right now we have a lot of state buildings which bring in a lot of state employees who don't necessarily live in the city, so we have this migration of a daytime population versus a nighttime population. So I would like to bring in more jobs that would be where people would be vested to also live here. Mm-hmm. We have 2 very big projects that are on the slate that right now, which is the Capitol Boulevard plan and the Brewery District. So we've been working on a lot of these for a few years now. The Shoreline Management Act that we were working on provided working with the Department of Ecology so that the environment was protected yet maintained opportunities for development. So those are going to be the 2 big ones that are working right now. I want to, having experience on the Planning Commission, I want to see what hadn't worked as we had planned in both the Little Rock Road sub-area and the Tumwater Town Center, so that both of those projects can move forward without some of the issues that had come up with the previous projects, and learn from those. Mm-hmm. I think that there is a good opportunity for the public to be very involved. They have been involved up so far, and an opportunity for them to continue to be involved in both of those.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Lucas.
I too want to ensure that we, working with the community as we've been doing, and Tumwater has done an outstanding job of coordinating a visioning process with the community. And the community has been remarkably involved in both the Brewery District revitalization and the Capital City Boulevard projects. And so those will be 2 priorities for me. Values-wise, what I'm hoping to see happen with Tumwater in the next 5 to 10 years is that we continue to progress toward a livable city, highly livable city, walkable city with mixed-use development that incorporates green policies, clean business policies, and that allows our growing and diverse, aging population with seniors and millennials who actually prefer to live urban as opposed to suburban, to be able to have access to housing and affordable housing as well. I really want to work on ensuring that we create those affordable housing opportunities that recent studies, the TRPC has shown. Thurston Regional Planning Council created a recent report that shows that we have a real lack actually of low-income housing in Thurston County, and Tumwater is one of those places, so that's something that I really would like to focus upon. Yeah. But just ensuring that the decisions and the policy making really is around creating a sustainable community and working with interregionally with our partners.
Great, thank you. To follow up on that, and this question will go to you first, what role do you think Tumwater should play in the Thurston Regional Planning Council's regional plan for sustainable development that is currently being drafted? So what's the role that Tumwater should play in that process?
I think that Tumwater can play a critical role, especially as Tumwater in the last 20 years. I came here almost 17 years ago, and I think the population at that time was about 8,000, and we've nearly doubled in population in that time. Because we have such a high daytime population with state workers, I think it's real critical for us to try to develop housing opportunities for those workers to actually live in Tumwater, to be able to live, work, play, learn in Tumwater. And so I think that working regionally, we can do some smart corridor work on transportation. We can coordinate on various other projects, such as recently I serve on the Public Safety Committee. We partnered with the City of Olympia to allow our firefighters access to their training facility so that our firefighters aren't traveling way up to North Bend. So we have opportunities like that where we can use our resources more wisely, working regionally, and so I'm very supportive of the visioning process that has been ongoing with the Thurston Regional Planning Council and Tumwater's active involvement in it, and very supportive of continuing that work so that we're making certain that the decisions we're making today are not adversely affecting future generations, that we're looking out for clean water and clean air, that we're working with other organizations such as the LOT on water reuse and opportunities for future reuse that will look out for water quantity and quality. So those are some of the ways that I think we can work interjurisdictionally. And then, of course, in the future, we may look at fire service as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, Ms. Sullivan?
Yeah, so for the Thurston County Regional Planning Council, you said? TRPC?
Yes, so what is the role that you think Tumwater should play in the regional plan for sustainable development that's currently being drafted by the Regional Planning Council?
Well, I know that Tumwater has been taking an active role as one of the 3 partnering cities, and the Capitol Boulevard project as the corridors portion of that is one of the major components of that. So that's one of the reasons why that is being moved forward now. And then the brewery district, which is valuable to all citizens of Thurston County. It happens to reside in Tumwater, but I would say that both Olympia, Lacey, and Tumwater all have an emotional attachment and investment in that particular piece of property. So it ties into the regional areas. So those 2 projects, Capitol Boulevard and the Tumwater Brewery, are part of the plan at this time.
Okay, great. You both are doing a great job in leading right into the next question that I have, so thank you very much. And Ms. Sullivan, we'll start with you this time. So as a member of the Tumwater City Council, what actions would you suggest to advance the plans to utilize the Tumwater Brewery property?
Well, so being on the Planning Commission, that particular topic has come before us. Mm-hmm. So I'll start back when we were working on the shoreline management agreement. So we had meetings with both the Department of Ecology was invited to every one of our meetings so that we would be able to move forward and meet the requirements that the Department of Ecology had for that piece of property. Yet we also understand how important it is for development. So we spent actually over a year working on that so that we had the right balance of making sure that we had the right zoning, the right clarity for classifications for that whole area so that it wouldn't restrict the development as much as it possibly could. Mm-hmm. So we were very successful in doing that and moving that forward to City Council. Recently I was actually able to tour the brewery property. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of destruction to it by both vandals and previous owners. So I think we are working on now having something that would be viable now with the deed restriction for brewery and alcohol has been lifted. I think this will open the opportunities up significantly. I think everyone in our community has been really looking forward to that. So, and it's even more the brewery district. We're not just looking at the brewery property, but we're looking at the brewery district. So that would be the businesses, even Safeways, Cleveland, North Street, that area, because it all ties in. And so we need to make sure that that's livable, meets, and it's a great opportunity to bring something new in there. With mixed use and possibly a transit center, more viable transit centers. So there's some good opportunities there.
Thank you. Ms. Lucas, same question.
I think that the way that we can advance the Tumwater Brewery District revitalization is to continue to work closely with our Planning Commission and the great advice that they have been providing, and then also ensuring that we have continued public participation. The public has been very active. I was just at a forum this last week that was well attended, and people are excited and engaged, and so that's exciting. And so I want to ensure that we have that. Of course, the recent lifting of the restriction on alcohol that's been in place for 10 years has created a lot of barriers and obstacles for development there, and so that's exciting as well. And I think we also need to address transportation concerns, and whether it's going to be roundabouts or signals. We heard a lot of, that was the big focus in our forum this last week, and and addressing some of the concerns about safety of the crosswalks is going to be very significant. But I think the continued public process is key.
Great. Thank you both. We're going to shift direction a little bit here, and this question will go to you, Ms. Lucas, first. As you know, the parking is very limited in the area where the town center is being built, and the available parking is the libraries and is heavily used. So how will Tumwater deal with that problem?
Well, I don't have the answer to that, and and I think that unfortunately we've just not had that answer heretofore, and I'm not exactly, I wish that I had the answer. I'm not exactly certain what we can do to address the parking situation there. I think maybe partnering with our jurisdiction, neighboring jurisdiction, the port, might afford us some great opportunities. I went out and toured the port facilities about a week ago and was just very impressed with the things that they're doing there and the future opportunities that may exist with their large ownership within Tumwater properties. So, so I'm really looking forward to more partnership with other jurisdictions like the port. And of course, public-private opportunities need to be explored as well.
Great, thank you. Ms. Sullivan.
So parking, well, the Tumwater Town Center was actually finishing up when I first joined the Planning Commission 10 years ago. So that was one of the reasons why I said earlier about looking at what was working and what didn't work. Part of the issue was that the initial plan with the Tumwater Town Center would have provided additional parking, but it also takes development from commercial developers and those kinds of things with getting streets through and a lot of the other improvements that need to happen in there. Part of the issue is that with the banking changes after the recession, a lot of banks are not willing to lease or lend money on leasehold land, so that had created some significant problems. So until you start having development, the roads, the parking facilities, and those kinds of things unfortunately can't be developed. So one of the things that the Planning Commission wanted to do was revisit some of the things that were not working in the original plan of the Tumwater Town Center and maybe address some of those. One of the issues was in the development was that blocks were too big, so it was making it difficult to walk. And so those issues need to be actually resolved before we start laying in streets.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, we go back to you. What are your budget priorities for the next 4 years in Tumwater?
Budget priorities in the next 4 years, I would say, would be essential services. I don't think Tumwater has felt the financial stresses that some other cities have had in the recession. However, we did have some. So making sure that we have balanced revenue, making sure that property tax does not carry too much of the burden for that. So it would be essential services need to be a must. Fire, police, we need to staff the North End Fire Station. We have, in the last few years, annexed all the way to Black Lake, which increased the footprint of Tumwater significantly, but we didn't increase a lot of the fire and staff. I mean, that's slowly coming up with the levee lid lift and the expansion of the police department. But as the population infills into that area, we need to make sure that those essential services need to continue. Road, Capitol Boulevard is one of the issues. Again, with our daytime population, 50% leaving during the day, they don't necessarily leave the revenue during the day, but yet use our roads, use our services. So we need to find a way of bringing other opportunities in. I would say working with the port for development. One of the things is that we need to maybe think outside the box of maybe bringing in educational institutions or high-tech manufacturing into the port to help bring in those living wage jobs. So fiscal responsibility, essential services need to be a priority, and then doing what we can to make the development of the brewery property as best we can, and redevelopment along Capitol Boulevard. Another area is Little Rock Road. Tyee Drive needs to get built through, and that needs to happen to take the pressure off Little Rock Road. That was in the original plan on the Little Rock Road sub-area, so we need to also address that to make sure that that doesn't become a dysfunctional traffic area, transportation area.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Ms. Lucas, your budget priorities for the next 4 years?
I agree absolutely that we have to protect essential services, and that's been one of my speaking points out there, and including public safety. I was really proud to be able to be a part of the citizens group that evaluated all of the budget shortfalls that were creating issues for our fire and police departments, and then to recommend the levee lid lift, which was approved, thankfully, by the voters in 2011. So I think that, of course, protecting essential public services, our police and fire, and exploring we have to be mindful of the fact that we've reached the limit on our property tax now, how we can tax, so we're going to have to be careful there. I think we've just got to explore more partnership opportunities and to work public and private opportunities to ensure that we create a tax base, a better tax base.
Thank you both. And this is the last question, and it goes to you, Ms. Lucas, first. What concerns, if any, do you have about the natural environment in Tumwater?
I suppose one of the biggest concerns that I have is the legacy that we will leave for future generations. Protecting green spaces, ensuring that we are continue to be a tree city. It was one of the reasons that I had contacted City Hall numerous times in recent years about the trees and disappearing trees. I think, as we look to concerns about climate change and warming, that we have to ensure that our cities remain green. And so that's a priority for me. I think that we need to integrate all of our policies to ensure that we're looking to future generations, that they're sustainable, that that we're addressing water concerns, not only for quality but quantity, because it is a finite resource. And so I think we need to be able to work regionally to address those issues. And so those are some of my primary concerns. Another is that I think that our healthy communities also need to be also taken into account, and that means that we need to ensure that we have a good social safety net, and that we're raising healthy children, that we're caring for our elders, our seniors, And with one of the projects that I'm currently working on council are the large number of ACEs, the adverse childhood experiences that Thurston County experiences, having the third largest number of ACEs in the state. So I think that addressing both social and environmental issues and working on those in a holistic approach, in a holistic matter, is critical. And then, of course, our policies, you know, in our development policies, I think that we need to look to mixed use, creating walkable neighborhoods, and ensuring that people are not having to drive to work, that they're able to live, work, play, and learn within the neighborhoods. And so that's what I'm hoping to focus upon.
Excuse me. Pardon me. Ms. Sullivan, your concerns about the natural environment.
Well, one of my concerns is that many years ago, some of our well water was contaminated, and so making sure that we have the right water resources. We also live in a floodplain when it comes to Deschutes River, so making sure that there's a balance between people losing their properties or damage to their properties, and making sure that working with natural resources to make sure that that environment stays solid and sound. Working with fisheries, because there was at one point of talk of putting in a hatchery down by the Pioneer Park. Doing walkable paths, making that whole area, Little Rock Road sub-area, there is a path in there. And so we just need to make sure that those paths, those walkways, the bike trails, all of those are interconnected so that they don't dead end at roads, major thoroughfares, and make it safe for the public who want to use those facilities.
Thank you. Thank you both for your responses to our questions today. And now we will go to closing statements. And Ms. Lucas, you will have 1 minute for your closing statement.
Well, thank you. Again, I really want to thank the League for sponsoring this forum and just really to talk about why I hope that the voters will retain me in my seat, position 6 on Tumwater City Council. I envision a Tumwater with opportunity for all, for tolerance and compassion, and importantly, a community that ensures that the actions we take today do not adversely impact future generations. I envision a future where every citizen has a home and enjoys a living wage job with equal access and opportunity to achieve his or her highest potential. I have more than 20 years of public policy service, most recently as director of a small state agency and previously appointed by 2 commissioners of public lands to their executive teams, where I helped the state negotiate complex policy issues for win-win results. I have a bachelor's degree in political science, and I'm a professionally certified mediator. It was a proud moment to be unanimously appointed to Tumwater City Council. I'm passionate about my work on City Council, and I ask for your support to retain me. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sullivan.
Yes, again, thanks to the League of Women Voters. I do appreciate this opportunity. And this particular election, I would like to be moved forward to the primary so that I would be able to run for the general election in this November. The primary is the first step to do that. And I have also appreciated my support. I was endorsed by the Tumwater firefighters recently, so I felt that was very felt honored to be to have their endorsement. I've also been endorsed by Council Member Ed Hildreth, former Council Member Judy Hofling, Representative Chris Reichdahl, Port Commissioner Bill McGregor, and there's been other community leaders, including former Mayor John Halverson of Lacey, that has also endorsed me. So I hope I also get the support from the citizens of Tumwater to move forward and take my 10 years of experience sitting on the Tumwater Planning Commission to do more work for them on the City Council.
Thank you. Thank you both. And that brings us to the end of this forum today. Thank you both for joining us, and thank you TCTV and the League of Women Voters for making this forum possible. Viewers out there, we hope that when you vote in the August primary, this information will help make you a more informed voter and feel confident about your decision as you move forward. Again, today we've been joined by candidates Kyle Taylor-Lucas and Debbie Sullivan, 2 of the 3 candidates for Tumwater Council position number 6. Mr. Reeder was not able to join us. Thank you all for joining us very much. Have a good day.